When going to Blick goes wrong, completely wrong, we about to do our research on going to Blick, but getting blicked. Let's do our research. So it don't happen to you.
There's a popular saying that goes,
I'm
live
doing
by
this
the
for
gun,
you.
die by the gun. This saying teaches us that the lifestyles we choose to live can often have unintended yet predictable
Man,
outcomes. The subjects of today's video would come face to face with this lesson. In today's video, we'll be telling the stories of
let me just start that real quick. They say live by the gun, die by the gun. Don't get that confused with you shouldn't have a gun to defend your home or yourself. The world is crazy. This is not the same world from even 10 years ago. It's different out here. So you need to have something to protect you and your family at all times. I don't recommend, man, look here, all times. I don't recommend anybody be out here without any kind of firearm. That's your right. Exercise it. If you don't do nothing else, exercise.
3 rappers that died while in the act of trying to kill another person. But before we get into the video, please be sure to like and subscribe.
Crazy, dog. It's crazy.
Big Bucks Elo, real name Elijah McKinney, was from St. Louis, Missouri. Similar to cities like Chicago, Philadelphia, and New Orleans, murder is commonplace in St. Louis. According to CBS News, it's the second most dangerous city in America. St. Louis has heavy gang activity going on, and Elo was involved. He was a member of a gang called Big Bucks. Big Bucks primarily consists of 6 Deuce Crips, and they reside on Solway Avenue in North St. Louis. Elo was known for allegedly being a top shooter in his crew and was thirsty to go after his opposition. St. Louis, similar to many cities with heavy gang activity, contained many gang members that also rapped. Elo was a drill rapper, and his songs primarily served as disses to his ops and described his life in the streets. One of Big Buck's main ops is another crew called The Six. On December 5th, 2016, Elo lost a close friend of his named Rookie, real named Damani H., who died as a result of a drive-by shooting. It's rumored that members of The Six were allegedly responsible for this. More specifically, a rapper from The Six named KB6. Years down the line, Elo would run into KB6 and would go on a wild mission to kill him in order to avenge Rookie. That mission would ultimately cost Elo his life.
Get to that breaking news we are covering for you in North St. Louis. Police telling us several people have been shot and 3 of them have died. This happened just before 2 o'clock this afternoon in the Walnut Park West neighborhood.
On July 29th, 2020, Elo, his friend named Day Sav, real name Dejan Nearing, and another friend named J2Z, real name Joshua Emerson, were in a stolen car riding through the 5500 block of Floyd Avenue at about 1:40 p.m. Elo was the driver, Daysav was in the front passenger seat, and J2Z was in the back. As they were driving, they spotted KB. Upon spotting him, they opened fire, shooting him multiple times. Members of the Six were in the area and started shooting back at Elo and his crew, leading to a full-blown shootout. People who lived nearby told police they heard non-stop gunshots. During this shootout, both Elo, Daysav, and J2Z were all shot repeatedly. In the aftermath, KB, Elo, and Daysav were all pronounced dead at the scene. KB was just 22 years old, and Elo and Daysav were just 18 years old. J2Z, who was 17 at the time, was taken to the hospital and ultimately survived his injuries. The killers of Elo and Daysav weren't charged, most likely due to self-defense. J2Z was actually the one charged with all 3 murders. He was officially charged with 1 count of first-degree murder for the death of KB and 2 counts of second-degree murder for the deaths of Elo and Daysav. Missouri law allows prosecutors to file murder charges if someone dies during the commission of a felony, even if the defendant did not directly cause the death. After 3 years, those charges were ultimately dismissed without prejudice, meaning they could possibly be filed again at a later date. The reason Jay's charges were dropped is because all of the possible witnesses refused to respond and show up to court. In the end,
So they dropped the charges because all the witnesses refused to show up to court. But sometimes they be dropping them charges because they don't want to go to court and end up wasting their chance to get you. So say they go to court and lose. Now they can't charge you. Say that some new evidence come up, but they end up, really figuring something out. Now they can't go back and charge you due to double jeopardy. Do your research on what double jeopardy is. I know a lot of y'all y'all ain't sharp and up to date on them laws. I mean, a lot of y'all should know what double jeopardy is, though. But let's go and get with it.
Elo achieved his goal of killing his bitter enemy, but suffered the ultimate consequence as a result.
No Diddy. Oh,
Blumberg G's, real name Anthony Watson, was from North Philadelphia. He was a member of a sect called Blumberg, also known as the Black Flags. The Black Flags primarily beef with Zoo Gang, Diamond Street, and Burke Street /2418. Blumberg G's would eventually start rapping and built a reputation for himself in the streets. Most of his songs were about killing his enemies. He was known for always being willing to go on a drill and never hesitating to fire his gun. This mentality would lead to G's eventually getting charged with murder. On August 23, 2020, a rival gang member to G's named Little Ranger, real name Hayward Garrison, was in the 2200 block of Diamond Street just after 1 a.m. when a gunman pulled up and opened fire. Little Ranger was struck, then he reportedly ran to the corner of Van Pelt and Diamond Street where he collapsed and was quickly picked up by a passing vehicle. While the car was driving to the hospital, the occupants flagged down a police cruiser that was responding to the shooting. Little Ranger was placed in the police car and taken to Temple Hospital, where he passed away just after 1:30 a.m. at just 16 years old. Blumberg G's was allegedly the gunman in this incident. It is widely rumored that Little Ranger allegedly killed a Black Flag member named 40 earlier that year, and this is why Blumberg G's allegedly killed him. Blumberg G's was officially charged for the 2020 murder of Little Ranger in March of 2022, and he was placed on Philadelphia's most wanted list. Rather than turn himself in, G's would go on the run. While on the run, he didn't keep a look.
You made that most wanted list. Open up! You already know who coming for you, boy. Most wanted? Yeah. Your ass is grass, pal.
Low profile. Similar to the rapper Take K, he continued to make music and post music videos on his YouTube channel despite the fact that he was on the most wanted list and the police were looking for him. G's was on the run for over.
Go look up the video on him when he got sentenced. Look how sad he was looking in that courtroom.
A year, it was never caught. Ultimately, the police would never get the chance to arrest him, as G's would lose his life while attempting to kill one of his enemies. On May 31st, 2023, G's was sliding on members of Zoo Gang in the 1800 block of North Woodstock Street just after 8:15 p.m. Once spotting some of his ops, gunfire erupted. In the aftermath, G's was shot once in the head and was then rushed to Temple University Hospital. 4 hours later, he would succumb to his injuries and be officially pronounced dead at just 21 years old. Members of Zoo Gang would claim that they were the ones that killed G's as he tried to slide on them, but members of the Black Flags and people online would claim that G's was accidentally killed by friendly fire by the person he was sliding.
It's self-defense. You tried to go slide on them, and they responded. They was prepared. And then they say forensics, they say the ops ain't even hit you. They say it was one of your partners doing return fire that hit you.
With. The truth of what happened has not yet been officially confirmed. G's was wearing gloves and a mask when he died, so it was clear that he was on a drill when it happened. Bloodhound Little Jeff, real name Jeffrey Harris, is a rapper and gang member from the east side of Chicago. He had two brothers and was raised primarily by his mother, as his dad wasn't really around. He quit playing basketball after he didn't make the varsity team, so he looked for something else to do with his life. His rough upbringing led to him gravitating towards the streets.
Y'all crushed that man's dreams. That man tried out for basketball. He ain't made the team. Then he went to the streets, and then it turned out to be a savage.
Was just
See what
14
happened?
years old, his house was shot up and a bullet flew by his face, nearly hitting him. His older brother was active in the streets and would introduce Jeff to it. He officially jumped off the porch at 18 years old. Jeff was a member of Drill City / Bloodhound, which claims the area of 79th and Maryland. They beef with BKN, Trap City, TYMB, 8-Tray Mob, and 800. Little Jeff was wild. He got a bullet tattooed on his face, but was always on Instagram Live dropping his location and displaying heavy artillery. Little Jeff became well known because he openly bragged on numerous occasions that he killed over 10 people and that he was a top killer in Chicago. The Bloodhound's primary beef is with another group called Trap City. Trap City and the Bloodhounds actually used to be cool with each other, but according to an interview Trap City members did, the beef started after members of the Bloodhounds allegedly stole a chain from a Trap City member. Both sides would start dissing each other, and eventually things escalated to bloodshed. On March 16, 2023, a beloved member of the Bloodhounds named Z Money, real name Zaire Nelson, was shot and killed. It is widely believed.
How the hell that man got the chain, dog? Y'all know how he got the chain? Start with an S.
Believed that Trap City was allegedly responsible for this murder. Little Jeff said in an interview that the death of Z Money made him see red and made him cold-hearted. About 3 months later, Little Jeff would allegedly avenge Z Money's death. On June 25th, 2023, a Trap City member named Leo, or named Jaleel Goins, had just gotten into the back seat of a Lyft ride in the 1300 block of West Taylor Street in Little Italy just before 9 p.m. when another car approached. Someone inside hopped out, walked up to the backseat window where Leo was sitting, and opened fire. Leo was shot multiple times and rushed to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead at just 19 years old. Little Jeff and other members of Bloodhound went on social media and pretty much openly confessed to being responsible for Leo's murder and that it was a get back for Z Money. Following this incident, Little Jeff would continue to kill. Little Jeff and Bloodhound used to be cool with members of BKN. In fact, there's videos of Jeff online hanging out with them. Well, everything changed after Jeff was allegedly robbed by BKN members for his watches. This made him want to get back at them as soon as possible. Well, he would allegedly do so in a horrific manner. On January 26, 2024, a BKN member named Monty, real name Ontario Williams, and another young man named Little Rob, real name Robert Boston, were standing outside of their school, Innovations High School, when a group of masked gunmen jumped out of two vehicles in front of the school and opened fire. The gunmen let off dozens of shots, striking Monty and Little Rob multiple times in the chest. Both were rushed to the hospital, where Monty would be pronounced dead at just 17 years old, and Little Rob would be pronounced dead at just 16 years old. Following this double homicide, Little Jeff went on social media, openly bragging about being responsible, claiming that he and his crew killed them because they stole from him. Jeff had already started rapping at this point, but
it's a trend. It's like every video we talking about niggas committing the crime, going to social media posting. Commit the crime, go post it. Like it's beyond insane.
He hadn't had that much success. Him bragging so openly about this double murder actually made him go viral online, and all of his music began to boost in popularity. As his music was rising in popularity and people began to learn of his story.
I ain't gonna lie, one way to cut that shit out, if y'all stop entertaining that shit and playing it, streaming it, all of that bullshit, they'll stop making it. If y'all stop entertaining it and spinning it, they'll stop damn making it. They ain't gonna have no choice. Because they only doing it because they get money off of it. They only doing it because y'all paying to go to the shows to hear them perform the songs. So if y'all stop doing all that stuff, they're not gonna make them songs no more. They're gonna try to find out some other shit.
and claims of allegedly having over 10 bodies, Jeff's fame continued to grow at a fast pace. Despite his rising fame and finances, little Jeff could never get over his bloodthirst, especially for members of Trap City. This bloodthirst would lead to his untimely death. On June 8, 2024, little Jeff was in the 6600 block of South Roads at 5:14 p.m. with other members of the Bloodhounds looking for Trap City members. Once they spotted one, little Jeff hopped out of the car shooting and chased his victim into a house. Once he reached the steps of the house, someone within the house returned fire and shot Jeff in the chest. The shooter then stood over Jeff and shot him up to 15 times. The people with Jeff shot back, but it was too late. Once the gunfire ended, Jeff's crew transported him to the hospital, but he was pronounced dead at just 21 years old. The whole shootout was caught on camera, and the footage went viral online. A member of Trap City named Rob is believed to be the gunman that killed Jeff. Rob is currently locked up for a separate gun charge. He was not charged with the murder of Jeff, likely due to Chicago's mutual combat law that has been applied to other Chicago shootouts in the past. Following his death, little Jeff's notoriety has grown to new heights, and he has become the face of modern drill music. This lifestyle is crazy. There's truly no winners. It seems like everyone's story ends in one or two sad outcomes. Stay out of the streets. RIP to everyone who passed away in this video. Let me know if
RIP to all the fallen soldiers out there. Y'all boys gotta get up out these streets though, man.